Gonna be the rookie Orianna versus Talon mid. The matchup is actually Orianna favored, although Talon can find openings against Orianna. Orianna can look to, or Orianna has a lot of wave openings here, and we can talk about what rookie could do against Talon. So let's go ahead and do that. Thanks for the sub, by the way. I do have to turn that off, unfortunately. Joan Dahl, I appreciate it. Okay, let's just redo that again. So this is gonna be the rookie versus Talon matchup. Orianna versus Talon matchup, and there's a number of things that Orianna can actually do inside of this lane, right? The first thing that Orianna could do is she could actually opt to attack Talon's mana pool in the case where if he opts to W early and he tries to rake at level 1, we can essentially thin out the wave a little bit less, or we can output a little bit less damage than what Talon does, thus playing the wave in a really nice spot. This is really good against junglers like Lee Sin, or junglers when you have Lee Sin who can level 2, junglers like Jarvan, junglers like Olaf, champions that can actually make use of level 2. The second thing that Rookie could do is he could right off the bat stand in the middle, try to just Q Talon as he moves in, and then click up to the north side, forcing Talon to then rake the entire wave or rake Rookie, and then if he opts to hit Orianna, what ends up happening is he loses damage on the wave. That opening essentially allows us to play level 1, level 1 push, level 2 push, into whatever we want to do with level 3 and 4, and depending on how Lee Sin plays it out, right? Now, if Lee Sin opts to do something like this, and this is something that you're going to see a lot of professional players do, or just very, very high level or very renowned solo queue players do, is they're going to play with their junglers. If Lee Sin opts to play this really slow, Rookie might take the first opening where he doesn't actually end up immediately hard shoving the wave, ends up actually trying to thin the wave in this area, and he just tries to play the mana game with Talon, and then he allows Lee Sin to make routes like from his left to right side jungle, or maybe into a transition gank from right to left, or sorry, from left to right, Jesus. Or if Talon opts to actually go in like this or make routes over to the left side jungle, Rookie could actually place the ball over here and use opening 2 that we talked about, where he would just constantly funnel down pressure onto Talon. Now, if a vertical ends up taking place, obviously we would end up favoring left side pocket for the majority of lane phase, and let's say if Lee Sin ends up completely dominating the opponent jungler, who in this case is Elise, which really shouldn't happen, and constantly looks for invades, then we're not going to actually try to bounce back. We're just going to tether maximum range on Talon's lethal against us, and we're going to just try to push him as much as possible in order to gain priority and help our jungler. So this all depends on what Lee Sin chooses to do. Now, in low MMR, I obviously tell players to do like these standard cookie cutter openings, but in this case, it's going to be a lot, it's going to be like very dynamic. You can do different things relative to how your jungler moves, okay? Hope that makes sense. That's like the most simplest way I could really like explain that. He actually opts to just auto, and this is fine, but I mean, yep. So he does the second opening where he just simply takes the Q into the mid wave. And again, notice his clicks, right? He clicks away from the wave. Now, this in itself is just kind of weird because he opts to take the south pocket. Now, this is bad what he's doing. And the reason this is bad is because why are you taking a south pocket when your jungler, first of all, is north pocket, even though this doesn't really matter too much. And second of all, there is a lot more room to move around on the north side than there is on the south side. When you move down to the south side, you essentially give yourself a very narrow angle, whereas moving up to the north side allows you to click up to the left-hand side of the lane and dodge the Talon's W. Unfortunately, what Rookie does is he just takes the south pocket and ends up taking the what do you call it, the rake right into the face, I believe, right? But you notice how he moves back, and this is obviously him acknowledging that he's on cooldown and that Talon can't do anything. One thing that, I mean, again, he actually even messes up his Q. I mean, why are you not hitting all the minions? Why don't you just stand over here? Why don't you just Q, click north? This is bad play from the mid laner here. And then he ends up eating the rake, and then he obviously kites down to the exaggerated right side because we talked about he wants to not let Talon hit the wave. And you're gonna ask, okay, why does Rookie not move this way? Like we talked about wiggle room. No, we want to stay over here, and the reason for this is because if Talon doesn't end up getting the push on the backline minions, it doesn't matter if we end up losing HP because we end up keeping the wave in a relatively nice spot for releasing to eventually hit Talon. Okay. Yep, now we're on cooldown, or Talon's on W cooldown, and so Rookie actually does opt to look to try to hit Talon. And then obviously what's gonna happen here is we know Talon's W is on cooldown. If someone can tell me the cooldown on Talon's W, actually I don't remember. I think it's like 10 seconds, or maybe it's like 8 seconds, something like that. Someone can just Google that. But Rookie will actually go ahead and auto this minion, and now he's going to then move down to the south minion. And the reason he's going to move down to the south minion is because this minion is the next minion low. And so we don't necessarily want a red wave to be built up, and so we're actually going to end up killing as many red minions as possible to lower the DPS on the red side, which gives us a X blue advantage, right? Like a plus whatever blue advantage, whether it be 2, whether it be 1, whether it be 3. 3 would be optimal. In this case, we're then gonna auto. We're obviously gonna Q, auto, move down, auto, and this is gonna kill off these 3 backline minions. Alternatively, if we were to take a more defensive opening, and if Lee Sin opts to route down to wolves down to the right hand side jungle, where we then can acknowledge that Talon will continue to throw out DPS onto the wave, and we've acknowledged that this player will do so, we could actually move in to try to auto him because we know that Talon can't respond with any abilities. We can then pull up these 3 casters, move them down to the south side, and then we can simply lock them somewhere around here, as these minions will eventually end up dying. This will actually force the wave to be played somewhere around this blue square, which will then allow Talon, because he's a melee champion, to move in as well. And then we can take North Pocket. This will actually put Lee Sin in a very good spot because, as we discussed, his route would be from wolves down to the right hand side. Okay, so there's different things you can do with different openings. Okay. This is a little bit more advanced, but, whatever. Someone's got to talk about it. Yeah, now we're just going to shove. This is fine. Now, notice why Rookie ends up queuing Talon instead of the wave. Now, this could be a mistake, or this could be okay. Now, essentially, what's happening is the next incoming wave, okay, which is the third wave, what the fuck is this? Jesus. No, sorry, this is the first wave. I'm an idiot. First wave. Yeah, okay. So what actually ends up happening here is Rookie ends up essentially queuing Talon, right? Now, you would ask yourself, is the queue okay or is the queue not okay? Well, that depends on the proximity of the next wave, right? What we don't want to do is we can do one of 2 things. We could either take we can either build this wave along with wave B, which would be over here, right? And then we could crash it, right? So we can do that, or we can simply crash wave A, and then we can go for a ward, okay? So we can do one of 2 things. In this case, you can do either, because it seems like the third wave, in this case wave B, or the next wave, wave B, is not in anywhere close proximity to where the clash is, and so we can actually go ahead and do whatever we want with the wave, because Orianna has enough she has enough wave clear through her just autos and cooldowns. What the hell's Talon? She has enough cooldowns through autos and her spells to actually go ahead and shove this next wave before wave B ends up arriving, and thus it'll obviously put Talon in a very awkward spot. So at this point, she should just be auto shoving as fast as possible, because we don't want to play the lane here inside of an extended zone, because Talon will hit level 2, and if Elise opts to do something at level 2 and Rookie ends up getting chunked and he isn't running teleport, it becomes really awkward, okay, because it does eventually grant Talon a temporary freeze inside of the lane. And this is all, so it does end up locking. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but, at this point, as Rookie, you just want a hard shove. We don't want to... This is actually not the third wave. This is wave B. This is the second wave. So I'm going to use wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 in the initial stages of, my VOD. And then eventually, as we go into, wave 9, 10, 11, I'm just going to use A, B, and C because I don't want to keep track of everything. Or, it's harder for viewers to keep track of certain, waves and whatever, right? Because, I mean, very rarely do, Challenger, even Challenger mid laners consider I'm gonna recall on the 12th wave, which is gonna happen 2 waves from now, whatever, right? So we'll just talk. We'll just consider. We'll name them wave A, B, and C. Anyways, we just want to shove, and same concept. Wait, he just actually wins the trade here. Let's see actually how this ended up happening. So the QW comes out from Talon, or sorry, the W comes out from Talon, and we just want to look to Q, and this could actually be bad. Right? This would be bad if the third wave, which in this case would be wave C, is right around tier 2. If C is around tier 2, what ends up happening is C ends up getting locked with A and B, or mostly B and C. And then what ends up happening is Orianna might get ganked. But if we can hard shove the third wave, we can essentially get a bounce back on 5, not necessarily 4, and then 5, 6, and 7 are played here. And Talon can't necessarily take a recall on 6 because then we can chase him down the lane. And then Talon's next reset is on the 9th wave. This is just really, really good. Yep, this is all good. This is all really good play from Orianna so far. This isn't a problem. This is completely fine, what he's doing. This is completely acceptable. And, I mean, well, he played the lane level 1 really bad, but it doesn't matter. This ward is really good. And we can evaluate that the opponent jungler will actually start somewhere on the left-hand side. And I actually cannot keep track. Where did the opponent jungler even start? I don't even remember this because I was not looking. Raptors are up, and it seems like there are pings happening on the right-hand side jungle. So let's assume that... Oh, it was Olaf, right? So Olaf doesn't... Yeah, maybe he's on the right side jungle. Yep, this is just spacing issues. Ends up spacing into the... Now this is really good for Talon, right? And he started red? Okay, thank you. This makes sense. So Olaf is actually on the right-hand side at the moment. And we see pings going off, right? Now, what's happening here is really simple, right? Talon has found an opening on Orianna because she just used her Q, right? And there's no minion aggro. I tell all lower MMR players or mid MMR players that you should consider both aggro... Oh, sorry, it was Elise. Holy shit, I'm not thinking. We actually see it right here. I'm so sorry. It's not Olaf, it's Elise. Now, what's actually happening here is Talon knows that Orianna is on cooldown, and he also acknowledges that the next incoming wave isn't going to aggro onto him, and so he can take a trade here. If Talon, let's say, is 50% health and Orianna is 50% health, it actually benefits Talon more because Talon wins in all-out burst trades, and he just overall does more damage with the Ignite. And so putting Orianna down to 50 while simultaneously being 50 as well, it's just going to be really, really good. Unfortunately, Rookie ends up taking a very greedy route into mid lane. He could have easily wrapped around. I mean, why are you moving in like this when your incentive is to just have the 3rd wave and the 4th wave simply come into you? Because there's absolutely nothing that Talon can do at this point which would actually end up a loss in the lane. To him to actually win in the lane. This Talon is losing lane really hard right now, and Rookie actually ends up throwing it because he doesn't acknowledge that the wave bounce back is inevitable. No player at any level can stop what's about to happen, and Rookie has a completely free lane. And yet he still paths down. The only time this can end up happening is if, or the only time this is now not as beneficial, is if Elise ends up diving around Rookie, and that's only if he's actually low. So the decision to trade here is really awkward, although he does have exhaust, so it ends up working out. Yep. Ends up flashing over the wall, loses flash. Talon also ends up flashing. That was really fast for me, so he flashed Qs. This is fine. And now Rookie will chase him down, and the reason Rookie is chasing him down because we know that Talon is, he is on cooldown. If the Discord is not working, I will update that later. And at this point, what do we got to do, right? What is the next plan, right? Because we have wave 3 here, right? And now we have essentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blues, right? Let me count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blues, and we have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 reds, right? Unfortunately, though, these 2 minions are too low to count, and so this now becomes 4 reds, which essentially means that the wave is now pushing in. Now we're in a serious opportunity to get ganked. Now, this guy, there's 7 reds? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, there's 6 reds. Oh, there's 7 reds. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. That actually changes stuff. Hold on. I didn't count this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there's 6 blues. Okay, it still doesn't matter. It actually still doesn't matter. Because what ends up happening is you have to -2, right? So essentially there's actually 5 reds to 6 because these 2 melees are essentially dead, which means that Orianna is now forced to still play the lane up and her wave is still pushing inwards. The good news is Rookie is a challenger player, and so he's positioning himself on the left-hand side of the lane because he knows that the Elise is on the right-hand side. So in this case, do not favor your Lee Sin because we know that Talon and Elise are a lot stronger than Orianna Lee Sin early on. So what essentially ends up happening is that they end up just losing 2v2. And so positioning yourself in a more defensive angle in this case is completely acceptable. Although you can, now let's say for example that both of these players are full health or whatever, right? Then sure, if you have the Elise and if this guy's like maybe a Vigar or something, then maybe you can position on the right-hand side, because if a 2v2 were to take place here, then you would end up winning. But because it's a loss, you should position yourself towards the left-hand side of the lane, which is always going to be just more simply it's just going to be more optimal, right? And now Rookie is forced to push the next wave, and this really sucks, right? Now, like, just auto. He just used Q. Don't go in for Talon. You have to ask yourself here, are you ever going to kill Talon? If the answer is no, then you shouldn't go in for the auto. It doesn't give us any incentive. We know that Lee Sin can't dive. It's not possible when Elise is on the right-hand side. Lee Sin can't wrap around back to the left-hand side because it's far too inefficient even though Raptors are out, okay? Doesn't make any sense. If you can't kill Talon, which in this case she can't, don't trade with him because you need to shove in this wave into the tower before the next wave would end up locking, and this then gives Elise opportunities to potentially hit you. The only exception is if Lee Sin is over here and you're like baiting a 2v2, but even that is very coin flip because it is Elise and we don't know how healthy she actually is. Okay? Yep, Elise ends up showing. Actually, yep, the 2v2 happens and it seems like Lee Sin does hover. It ends up working out this time, although it's still a bad play. And this is something that I tell players all the time where it's like, just because something ends up working out, it's still incorrect. Because why are you even in this position in the first place? And now Rookie just has to hard shove. Just blow your mana, dude. He's just not... Yeah, like, again, he's looking for trades. This is bad. You're never going to kill him here. You're always going to take a reset. Talon cannot kill off this wave in time for you to end up losing XP on the next incoming wave. If Lee Sin didn't come, he's dead. That's pretty much the answer to that. Now, the fact that Lee Sin ends up taking this fight onto the right-hand side is very bad for Rookie. So what do you do as Orianna? Well, you tell him to back off. We shouldn't take the fight. Because if Rookie opts to help out Talon onto the right-hand side, one, he might lose, right? And two, it ends up becoming really awkward because of the lane states. And so what should actually end up happening here is Lee Sin should just back off because there's no incentive to fight. Bot lane has priority. We don't actually know if both of the tops actually have teleport. And it's just really not worth it. Instead, what's more optimal is to essentially just hard shove the next wave and throw it into the tower. Right? Yeah, okay, anyways, I'm reading the questions in chat, so I'm trying to answer as much as I can, although I'm not going to answer extensive questions because then I would have to go back in the VOD and that would defeat the purpose of putting it up on YouTube. Is this coaching? No, this is the VOD I'm doing. And at this point, just shove and get out. And the only reason he opts to stay is because of Lee Sin fighting onto the right-hand side of the jungle. And I mean, we can't see it, but he's probably looking at the fight. So if you are a mid laner, just look at the fight. Now this is fine because now he has like no mana. Now, okay, this is very actually kind of interesting. The reason Rookie opts to attack Talon here is not because of the fact that she thinks she can kill him. It's because Talon doesn't actually have Ignite. Rookie can still get away because we have Lee Sin on the left-hand side, and because Lee Sin is closer to Rookie, which essentially means that Lee Sin will be onto the left-hand side fight before Elise is, and so what ends up happening is Talon, even if he takes a trade here, or if Rookie can try to maximum range his Q out, or maybe he forces to throw out a W, he loses his mana. And so what ends up happening is the next wave, Talon can't do anything. This gives Rookie complete lane priority to do whatever he wants in the lane if Talon actually has no mana, because Rookie does actually have a bit of mana left. Talon, unfortunately, doesn't read into it, and what's happening here is essentially just a war of mana. And we can see why he takes it. We see Lee Sin on the right-hand side of the map, so, you know, first, he's able to get to the fight first. Talon W's, now Talon wants to recall, but he can't recall, because the next wave isn't a cannon. So it just doesn't make... Oh, it is a cannon. Holy shit, I'm trolling. Okay, I actually misplayed here. The next wave actually is a cannon. So this is, yeah, okay. Holy shit. Okay, so this is the sixth wave coming in. Yep, but it doesn't matter, because Talon is still screwed. And here, Rookie shouldn't stop his recall. He should just shove and get out. And now, wave 7 is where Rookie ends up actually getting a breathing... He gets breathing room in the lane. And this is where the... Oh, he missed cannon. And this is where the... I think he missed cannon. And this is where the lane ends up resetting, right? Yeah, he missed it. Whatever. And now it's essentially where, like, both laners have gone back to their, you know, their sides. They're getting their items. And then again, you can try to recover. And this is essentially what I like to call a recovery wave, right? Because if you mess up on wave 1 and wave 2 and wave 3... Let's say your jungler ends up helping you and you can get a recall on wave like 6. Wave 6 is the recovery wave for 7, 8, and 9. If you end up messing on, let's say, wave 7 and you end up doing something, maybe you can recover on wave 9. But you have to consider the fact that you fucked up on wave 7 and then you want to try to manipulate wave 8, give it up, to get a better state for wave 9. And this is where your recovery wave is. And your recovery wave will essentially then move into 10, 11, and 12, where you may actually start winning mid lane. Okay? Is he baiting here? No, yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, not really. Because, I mean, Lee Sin is kind of chilling. I don't think Rookie wants to stay here. Because again, remember, like this is wave. Let's say this is wave A, right? Wave A is not a cannon. If Rookie ends up getting stalled here and he ends up recalling one Talon returns for, let's say, wave B, Rookie will then be around tier 2 by the time wave C is end up shoving into tower. And then what ends up happening is instead of wave D and E coming into Talon, it actually ends up, or coming into Rookie, it actually comes back into Talon. So now we actually lose tempo. So the fact that we stay here is still bad. Because we end up losing tempo for the next few waves. Unfortunately, solo queue is what it is, and his back does get stopped in Talon. You see how Talon ends up arriving? Wave 7 ends up coming. So what's going to end up happening now is wave A is going to be for Talon. Wave B, Talon is going to get. Rookie can't stay. Rookie will then lose wave B, and he'll probably come back for wave C, and then you know, everything after C pushes back into Talon, and that's really bad for Rookie because he doesn't have flash up. Okay, ends up returning. Yep. Wait, how does he not push it fast enough? Let me see what's just happened here. So he ends up recalling Talon. So Talon doesn't even shove. So it ends up working out because Talon doesn't end up shoving, and he actually decides to try to freeze the lane, which he can't. He can't freeze the lane. He has to shove. Oh, okay. So it works out in Rookie's favor because something ends up happening on the left-hand side. Okay, so actually, what ends up happening is, although this is still bad, Talon ends up moving to the left side jungle for, I guess, I don't know. Probably to zone out Lee Sin from the Scuttle Crab or something. I really don't know what's going on. Maybe. So Lee Sin is forced to retreat into his jungle. But this is really good for Rookie because now Talon doesn't end up shoving the wave. And so he ends up eating, even though it was a bad recall. And, you know, he doesn't lose too much XP. The only downside is he's not able to get a freeze. But that's okay. Now, I don't know. If, like, if Rookie had, like, a Soraka and this is, like, competitive play, then maybe Rookie could kill off 3 of these minions, shield himself, and then move down to the south side, and then Soraka heals him and then moves back down to bot lane or something. That's an option, but because this is just not going to happen, obviously because, you know, champions, you can't really freeze the lane because you'd end up taking too much damage, and then Talon would end up breaking the wave because Elise would end up diving you if you end up taking too much of a... There's too much of an HP discrepancy. Anyway, so, yeah. Level 5. And now, again, this is the recovery wave. Both laners are full HP, nearly full mana, sort of. And now we're back to the same step where, again, Rookie ends up trying to, instead of trying to sit in the middle of the wave, stands away from his wave so that Talon is forced to hit the wave or hit Rookie. And then Rookie just goes in when Talon goes in for a CS, and then again positions himself back onto the right-hand side because of Lee Sin's next routes, which would be Raptors, Golems, or actually Golems, Raptors would be a better call here. Don't go Raptors. If Lee Sin goes to Raptors, it's kind of bad because how bot lane is playing. So it should always be like 1 into 2 into respond, and then back to Wolves or whatever. Did Ori put the word closer to his side in 4:05? I have no idea. I don't remember. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you can just ask this question when I post it on YouTube, and then I can try to answer. Because I don't know where 4:05 was, or what exactly happened. Yeah, and now we're just going to shove, and this is just to gain priority in the lane, to try to, you know, stop Talon from, you know, destroying our team. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. Orianna he actually did end up winning the lane here, or he is winning the lane. I don't know what happens at the end of this game, but he just dies here. Yep, ends up getting a solo kill on Talon. I guess we could take a look as to how that happened. Yep, auto or ultis, auto. Yep, Talon tries to recover, shield, auto. Yep, and it's pretty much over. The lane's actually essentially in Orianna's favor now for the remainder of the game. Anyways, that was the Orianna versus Talon VOD, and I'll try to do more champions. I'm just trying to do the recommended champions first so that people actually watch them and can benefit, and then, you know, maybe I'll do like a Yasuo or a Zed VOD or something, just, I guess, more enjoyable to take a look at. Alrighty, that was the... I need a breather, holy shit. That was the second VOD. Maybe I'll do one more.